If people can still hurt you, provoke you, or emotionally control you, the brutal truth is this: it's not because you're weak, it's because they still have access to you. Access to your emotions, your expectations, your need to be seen and understood. And that access is the only doorway pain ever uses. People don't hurt you directly. They hurt you through your reactions, through what you hope they'll give, through the explanations you feel compelled to offer, through the validation you quietly crave. And every time you react, you confirm that the door is still open. There are two versions of you living right now: the one who reacts instantly, absorbs tone and intention, replays words in silence, and carries pain as proof of meaning; and the other who watches without attachment, who listens without absorbing, who remains still while others reach for control and find nothing to grab. Pain is not evidence of cruelty. It is evidence of emotional access. Ask yourself this: who still has the power to disturb your inner state? Let that question sit uncomfortably, because clarity lives there. Now, fix this in your mind and repeat it internally, not out loud. No one has access to my emotional state unless I allow it. When reactions disappear, manipulation collapses. When explanations end, leverage dies. And when validation is no longer needed, their words lose all weight. But this is only the surface, because the real weakness isn't emotion itself, it's access to it. And in the next module, you're going to see exactly how that access is created, and why once you understand it, leaving this video would cost you control you can't afford to lose. Emotional access is the only reason anyone has ever been able to hurt you, manipulate you, or pull you out of your center, because pain doesn't force its way in. It enters through openings you didn't know you left unlocked. Reactions, expectations, attachment, the need to be understood. This is why people test you without saying they're testing you, using small acts of disrespect, sudden silence, subtle provocation, distance, withdrawal, watching carefully to see if you'll flinch, explain, chase, or react. Because the reaction is the reward, the confirmation that they've found the key. Every emotional response is a lever handed over. Every explanation is a door pushed wider. Every need to be understood is permission. And here's the uncomfortable part: you've given access far more often than you realize, not because you're naive, but because you were conditioned to believe that reacting meant being real, that explaining meant being strong, that emotional visibility meant connection, when in reality it often meant exposure. Pause and feel that truth. Let it sting just enough to wake you up. Now anchor this internally, silent and firm. I control access to my inner state. When you stop reacting, tests fail. When you stop chasing clarity, confusion loses power. When nothing leaks, nothing can be pulled. But there is one mistake that quietly restores access faster than anything else. A habit so normalized it feels harmless, yet it hands control back instantly. And once you see it in the next module, you'll realize how often you've been disarmed without even knowing it. The hard truth is this: the moment you explain yourself, you surrender control. Because over-explaining is not clarity. It's a defense reflex driven by the need to be understood, accepted, believed. And once that need is exposed, leverage appears. Every justification reveals your priorities. Every defense of your intentions hands over a map of your values. Every attempt to correct how you are perceived teaches others exactly where to press. The more you explain, the more readable you become, and predictability is the currency of control. There are two ways this plays out. One version of you reacts instantly, argues for fairness, clarifies tone, proves innocence, chasing understanding as if it equals respect. and the other acts without commentary, withdraws without announcement, allows silence to stand where explanations used to bleed out. Silence does something words never can. It creates uncertainty, and uncertainty destabilizes those who seek control, because when they don't know what you're thinking, they can't steer you. Here's the uncomfortable realization. You've spent more time trying to prove who you are than protecting what you control, mistaking explanation for strength when it was often exposure. Lock this in internally, without sound. I do not explain what does not require permission. Power does not rise from confrontation, it settles in detachment, and once you understand why pulling back changes everything, there's no reopening the door you're about to close. Detachment is not hatred, bitterness, or emotional numbness. Detachment is control, the ability to step back without anger, without explanation, without guilt. Because nothing rattles someone who decides their inner state is not a negotiation. The hidden weakness has always been chasing. Chasing people, closure, reassurance, attention, clarity. Because the one who chases hands over leverage, while the one who can walk away quietly takes it back without a word. Detachment is a silent withdrawal of emotional access. No confrontation, no announcements, no emotional displays. Silence does what arguments never can, and absence communicates what explanations only dilute. Sit with this realization, even if it feels heavy. You were hurt most when you refused to let go, when you stayed to fix, to convince, to be chosen. And that weight you've carried was never proof of loyalty. It was the cost of access you didn't revoke. Manipulators fear detachment because it starves them. Without reactions to provoke, without emotions to pull, their influence collapses into nothing. Anchor this internally, steady and quiet. I choose peace over permission, control over chaos. But understand this, detachment only holds when it's backed by emotional discipline. And in the next module you'll see why calm must be trained, not assumed. Because real power doesn't announce itself, it settles, and when it settles, it stays. Emotional discipline is the line that separates those who are controlled from those who control. Because the fastest way to give power away is to react through anger, defensiveness, or impulse the moment pressure is applied. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is containment, the ability to feel emotion without letting it decide your next move. And the moment you stay calm while others escalate, the psychological advantage shifts silently in your favor. People who cannot predict your reactions become cautious around you. Leverage disappears when responses are no longer automatic, and this kind of unpredictability is not chaos. It is quiet dominance. Let this land without judgment. Many conflicts in your past only grew because emotions took the lead. Not because the situation required force, clarity, or intensity, but because reaction felt necessary in the moment. Short pauses would have changed outcomes. Restraint would have ended battles before they began. Fix this internally, steady and firm. I command my reactions before they command me. When emotions no longer dictate behavior, control becomes natural. And what remains to be mastered next is the most disciplined response of all. One that needs no words, no expression, and no proof. Because at that level, nothing needs to be said. Silence is not the absence of power. It is power refined. And most people fear it because silence removes their ability to steer the narrative, to provoke, to pull reassurance or reaction out of you. When you don't respond, pressure forms in the space you leave behind. Others rush to fill it, revealing insecurity, motives, impatience, desperation, because the one who speaks less controls the emotional temperature without ever touching the dial. Silence makes you unreadable. When people cannot predict your thoughts or your next move, caution replaces confidence, and that caution is respect wearing the mask of fear. Let this settle, even if it's uncomfortable. Many arguments were lost the moment you spoke too much, the moment you tried to clarify, defend, or be understood, not because you were wrong, but because you surrendered position through excess words. Silence is not passive. It is intentional restraint. It is choosing observation over reaction, presence over performance, control over noise. Anchor this internally, calm and unshaken. I do not rush to fill silence, I command it. But understand this, silence only becomes permanent power when you no longer seek validation or approval from anyone watching. And once that need disappears, the room doesn't just go quiet, it stays that way. The need for validation is the last psychological weakness people exploit, because approval, praise, recognition, and being understood are not harmless desires. They are access points, and anyone who knows what affirms you knows how to steer you. Validation makes people predictable. When someone understands what you want to hear, they know when to reward you, when to withhold, when to manipulate through silence or approval, and this dependence doesn't earn respect, it trains compliance. There are two identities at play here. One needs to be chosen, liked, affirmed, constantly reassured that they matter, and the other defines their own worth, moves without permission, and does not wait to be approved before acting. Let this hit cleanly. You shaped more of your behavior around being accepted than being sovereign, softened your edges, adjusted your truth, tolerated more than you should have. Not because you lacked strength, but because you wanted to belong. And yet, the moment you validate yourself, something irreversible happens. Leverage disappears. Opinions lose authority. Reactions lose urgency. What others think becomes information, not instruction. Lock this in internally, calm and immovable. I am my own authority. Once validation is removed, nothing external can destabilize you. And when you reach that point, the chain doesn't loosen. It breaks, quietly, permanently, and without announcement. To be psychologically untouchable is not to dominate others, to harden into cruelty, or to go numb. It is complete sovereignty over yourself. A state where nothing outside you decides what lives inside you. You didn't become this by adding armor, you became this by shedding what never belonged to you. Emotional access, the urge to explain, the pull of attachment, the reflex to react, the noise of proving, the hunger for validation, and what remains feels less like defense and more like rebirth. You are calm under pressure now, silent under provocation, steady when chaos tries to rush you. The world may still test you, challenge you, attempt to provoke a response, but without access, nothing can land. Pain no longer penetrates, it informs, and opinions no longer command. They pass through without friction. The old version of you, the one that bled through reaction, chased understanding, and mistook exposure for strength, no longer exists. Hold this internally, not as motivation but as identity. I am unmovable. And when you live from that place, there is nothing left to seek, nothing left to prove, and nothing left that can reach you, as the door closes quietly, permanently, and without return.